Ever notice how some people quietly amass fortunes while others struggle their entire lives? It's as though there's a hidden playbook only a few know, a blueprint for steady wealth growth without flashy risks or relying on luck. That playbook is real, and for centuries, one community has perfected it: the Jewish community. Here are 10 low-key strategies they use to build lasting financial security, and how you can apply them today. Secret 10. Treat earning money as your obligation. Why do certain individuals always seem to have cash while countless others struggle endlessly? Luck isn't the answer, mindset is. Top performers recognize what most overlook. Generating income is not optional, it's a duty. Once financial stability becomes your mission, every decision you make starts working in your favor. Imagine losing your paycheck tomorrow. How long could you cover essentials? A week? A month? For most people, that reality is frighteningly brief. Affluent individuals refuse to be that vulnerable. They consider money as vital as breathing, not out of greed, but because it grants freedom. In practice, this means focusing on high-value skills the market rewards, not just hobbies. Think persuasive selling, digital marketing, or software development. Legendary investors didn't wait for opportunities. They created them. What about you? Are you passively waiting to be discovered, or are you forging your own path? To adopt this mindset, start today. See your income as a deliberate result, not an accident. If you don't have a plan to increase your earnings, build one now. Take a course, launch a side venture, or start consistently investing in the Standard & Poor's 500 index. If your income has stalled for more than 2 years, it's time to pivot. When you fully control your finances, something remarkable happens. Fear disappears. No more sleepless nights over bills. No more anxiety about unexpected expenses. No more dependence on anyone else. So, will you seize command of your financial future or remain on the sidelines? Remember, recognizing income as your duty is just the beginning. Next, you'll discover why most people never truly accumulate wealth, even when their earnings rise. It's a principle so powerful that consistently investing just $500 each month can grow into over $1 million. Secret 9. Embrace the power of long-term vision. Have you ever wondered where you'd be if you'd begun investing 10 years ago? Think about it. Most people live paycheck to paycheck, fixated on this month's bills, while the wealthy play a completely different game. They understand a profound truth. Time doesn't merely pass. It compounds. The greatest financial minds don't chase quick wins. They build enduring prosperity by thinking decades ahead. This is not simply a test of patience. It's a calculated strategy. While most people chase quick wins, truly savvy investors focus on returns that compound over decades. They don't ask, "How can I make money this month?" They ask, "How can I be wealthy in 20 years?" And the math doesn't lie. Here's a statistic that might blow your mind. Investing $500 every month in a basic index fund that averages a 10% annual return will grow to more than $1 million in 30 years. That's the power of compound interest, what Einstein famously called the eighth wonder of the world. Yet the real tragedy is that most folks never tap into this because they start too late. Waiting just 5 years can cost you hundreds of thousands in potential gains. So how do you adopt this long-term mindset? First, treat time as your greatest asset, more valuable than any amount of cash. The sooner you begin, the smaller your required contributions become. Next, map out a practical financial plan that spans beyond the next 12 months. Think in terms of a full decade. Where do you want to stand in 2035? What benchmarks must you hit each year to stay on target? Then, pick investments known for steady growth: real estate, established businesses, and low-cost index funds with proven track records. Imagine waking up a decade from now to regular income streams, not from your daily grind, but from the decisions you made years ago. That is the true payoff of long-range thinking. However, mindset alone isn't enough without a solid money management system. That's where the 5-jar money management system comes in, a method so simple and time-tested that it's built and preserved fortunes for generations. If someone handed you $10,000 today, would you know exactly how to allocate it, or would it vanish before you realize where it went? Remember, making money is only half the battle. The real secret to building lasting wealth lies in managing every dollar you earn. Studies show that people who use a disciplined allocation strategy accumulate roughly twice as much wealth over their lifetimes compared to those who don't. Here's how the 5-jar system works. Jar 1. Allocate 10% of every dollar you earn to charitable giving. This isn't just generosity. It trains your mind to see money as abundant rather than scarce. Jar 2. Set aside 10% to support family, friends, or causes you believe in. This nurtures strong relationships and builds a network of mutual aid. Jar 3. Dedicate 20% exclusively to growth assets, real estate, businesses, or broad market index funds. These funds are never touched for living expenses. They're solely for creating more wealth. Jar 4. Funnel 10% into an emergency reserve. Because life is unpredictable, you need a financial cushion for the unexpected. Vehicles can fail, roofs spring leaks, and jobs vanish overnight. Yet those who master money management never find themselves stranded because they plan ahead. Building a financial safety net delivers freedom and security that no price tag can touch. Let's dive into the 5th jar. Allocate 50% of your earnings to essential costs: rent or mortgage, groceries, utilities, and transportation. Every must-pay bill needs to fit inside this half of your income. If your living expenses creep beyond that threshold, you're signaling that your lifestyle is outpacing what you earn. Picture a life where each dollar has a designated purpose, where investments quietly compound in the background, and where emergencies never force you into debt. Envision seizing opportunities on the spot because funds are already boxed away and hard at work. This isn't daydreaming. It's the reality for anyone committed to a proven system instead of wishing for the best. So ask yourself, do you steer your money with intention, or does your money slip through your fingers? However, the 5-jar method only reaches its full potential when you can pass it on. In secret number 7, you'll discover why teaching financial literacy at home closes the gap schools ignore, and how families who share this wisdom forge wealth that endures for generations. Secret number 7. Financial education at home. What if you'd started learning about money when you were 10? Imagine where your net worth would stand today if school had included lessons on budgeting, investing, and wealth building. The truth is, most students spend 12 or more years in classrooms studying algebra, history, and literature, yet never receive a single lecture on how to manage a bank account or build a portfolio. It's no surprise that 78% of households live paycheck to paycheck. High-achieving families handle money differently. They weave financial conversations into everyday life from the earliest years. Children learn to track expenses, allocate resources, and pursue growth. This isn't about raising mini tycoons. It's about handing them a freedom toolkit that traditional education skips. In many cultures, money talk is taboo, leaving adults without a roadmap, convinced that investing is reserved for the wealthy, falling into high-interest credit traps, and passing these habits to the next generation. Research shows that kids introduced to financial basics early are twice as likely to achieve independence as adults. They understand compound interest, debt management, and asset growth before they even graduate high school. To bring financial education into your home, follow these steps. First, open up about money. Strip away shame and secrecy. Lay out your household budget, explain spending choices, and invite children into age-appropriate discussions about saving and investing. Second, create hands-on learning tools. Many families adopt a simplified version of the 5-jar system: spending, saving, investing, donating, and reserves. When a 12-year-old watches their investment jar swell over time, the lesson ingrains itself for life. Third, spark entrepreneurial thinking. Rather than handing out allowances, encourage kids to earn by offering value, selling lemonade, mowing lawns, or designing simple digital products. This cements the link between effort, value, and reward. Fourth, teach the power of compound interest early. Use clear examples, like how doubling a single dollar each day for 30 days turns into more than $10 million. Those numbers stick with you. Imagine where you'd be now if you'd mastered these principles as a child. Consider all the money mistakes you could have dodged. Picture your net worth today if you'd made smarter calls. Imagine your children's future feeling rock solid. What lessons about money are you passing on? Financial know-how alone won't get you there. You need powerful relationships to truly accelerate your wealth. Secret number 6, strategic networking, the unmatched force of the right connections. You've heard, it's not what you know, but who you know, yet few grasp its full power. Of course, expertise matters, but the fastest path to serious money often runs through people. Top earners live by this. They cultivate targeted networks that bolster their position and keep opportunities flowing. That's why some folks stumble onto incredible deals effortlessly, while others grind for years without a breakthrough. It all comes down to access. Most attempt to build wealth in isolation, working hard but never tapping into groups that can speed their progress. They miss out on insider investment tips and business possibilities. They don't realize that select relationships unlock doors everyone else finds shut. Here's a striking insight. Studies show that 70% of jobs and business prospects arise from personal referrals, not applications, not advertisements, not cold outreach. The best opportunities rarely hit the open market. They circulate first within trusted circles. So how do you form a network that propels your financial ascent? First, show up where it matters. Attend industry meetups, professional associations, and invite-only events. Too many people miss out simply because they're not present. Second, deliver value before you request help. Effective networking is about contribution. Assist others in their goals. Build a reputation as someone who consistently produces results. When a prime opportunity emerges, people will think of you. Third, surround yourself with achievers. If you only spend time with people living paycheck to paycheck, that mindset becomes your norm. But engaging with those who've already reached your targets will elevate your own perspective. Fourth, leverage warm introductions within wealth-building communities. Recommendations open doors. As you establish credibility, quality opportunities flow in organically through trusted referrals. Imagine a circle where fresh ventures land in your inbox regularly. Investment insights arrive before the mainstream buzz, and there's always someone ready to support your growth. This isn't fantasy, it's reality for those who build relationships intentionally. Ask yourself, do your current connections lift you higher or hold you back? Even with an ironclad network, there's another crucial trait that distinguishes genuine wealth builders. That's secret number 5, intelligent frugality, spending with purpose. Did you know many millionaires drive everyday cars and live in modest homes? The myth of flashy lifestyles is largely fiction. True wealth creators understand this. Don't spend to look rich, spend to become rich. This isn't about being miserly or joyless. It's about allocating every dollar strategically. Here's the core truth. It's not your income that matters most, but how much you keep. A lot of Americans ramp up their spending the moment their income grows. They buy things they do not need with money they do not have, all to impress people who could not care less. They assume that if they can cover the monthly payment, they can truly afford the purchase. This mindset is a ticket to lifelong financial mediocrity. Research exposes a startling reality. 70% of lottery winners are bankrupt within 5 years. Why does this happen? Because money without a plan does not translate into enduring prosperity. Those who understand money handle it very differently. They direct their dollars toward growth, not mere glamour. So how do you practice smart frugality? First, build a detailed budget and commit to it. Track every dollar before it leaves your account. Before you hit buy, ask yourself, will this purchase make me wealthier over the long term or just give me a quick ego boost? Second, focus on investments instead of depreciating consumer goods. Rather than splurging on items that lose value the moment you walk out of the store, put your cash into assets that generate income. Real estate, business ventures, or quality financial education programs by experts like Ramit Sethi or Tony Robbins. Third, resist lifestyle inflation. When your paycheck increases, keep your standard of living steady and redirect the extra earnings into investments. That way, you maintain control over your expenses no matter how much more you earn. Fourth, view money as a tool rather than a status symbol. Truly wealthy people do not feel compelled to showcase their success. They quietly accumulate assets, safeguarding their future without drawing attention. Imagine steadily growing your wealth without drowning in debt, enjoying real financial freedom instead of chasing approval, and watching your investments work so you can eventually work less. The question is simple. Are you spending to look rich, or are you spending to become genuinely wealthy? But even the smartest spending strategy fails if you are buried in liabilities. Secret number 4 is about escaping unnecessary debt traps and learning to use credit as a builder of wealth rather than a destroyer of it. Countless Americans spend decades working just to service interest on their debts. When used correctly, borrowing can be a powerful lever. Abused, it becomes a crushing burden. Financially astute individuals live by one rule. If you have to borrow to buy it, you likely cannot truly afford it. They steer clear of high-cost debt, ensuring their money fuels their own growth instead of padding the pockets of banks and credit card companies. The real danger lies not only in the total amount owed, but in the compounding interest that binds you indefinitely. Millions of people accept low monthly payments on credit purchases only to end up paying 2 or 3 times the item's original price over years of repayments. They pile up balances without noticing until most of their income is funneled into interest, leaving little or nothing to build genuine wealth. Here is a shocking fact. The average American pays more than $100,000 in interest over a lifetime on consumer debt alone. That is $100,000 exchanged for someone else's profit instead of being invested in your own future. So how do you break free and turn credit into an ally? First, use borrowed money only for purchases that will increase your net worth. Prudent investors only take on debt when the expected return exceeds the interest expense. Think of revenue-generating real estate, such as rental homes in expanding neighborhoods, or borrowing to scale up a thriving enterprise. Even education counts if it truly boosts your earning potential, like targeted professional courses. Next, treat credit cards strictly as a convenience, never as a borrowing tool. Charge your purchases and pay off the balance in full each month to avoid paying any interest. After that, tackle high-cost liabilities without delay. If you're carrying steep debt, make eliminating it your top priority before you consider any investments. The longer you carry that burden, the more you'll hemorrhage money in finance charges. Also, stop evaluating purchases by the monthly installment. Always look at the sticker price. If you can only afford something by stretching payments over 24 months, it's a clear sign you should wait until you have the full cash. Picture a life free from bill anxiety and debt obligations, where your capital compounds instead of being eaten by interest. That way, you can invest confidently and grow real wealth rather than merely servicing loans. Ask yourself, are you building lasting prosperity, or are you just financing interest? But steering clear of debt is only one strategy. The next game changer is entrepreneurship, often the fastest route to genuine financial freedom. And you can launch a venture with minimal capital and keep your day job at first. Entrepreneurship, your shortcut to independence. What would happen if you lost your job tomorrow? Would you have another way to cover your expenses? Relying on a single paycheck is one of the biggest financial traps. Those who achieve true wealth understand that owning their income stream is vital. That's why business ownership ranks so highly among affluent circles. It offers freedom, uncapped upside, and protection against economic slumps. Millions remain stuck, enriching their bosses while their own net worth stagnates. A salary always comes with a cap set by someone else. And if the company shutters or the market sours, your sole income could vanish overnight. Imagine diverting that same effort into creating your own venture. Yet most people retire without any real assets or passive cash flow. Here's a startling fact. In the United States, 88% of self-made millionaires built their fortunes through entrepreneurship or business ownership. As an entrepreneur, you're not waiting for raises. You're setting your own ceiling. Ready to get started? First, identify an unmet need and fill that gap. The most successful companies exist because they solve genuine problems. Ask yourself, what irritations or hurdles do people face that I can address? Second, launch lean and dream big. You don't have to quit your current job right away. Many founders begin on the side until their side hustle becomes their main revenue source. Giants like Apple and Amazon kicked off in garages. A now famous social network began in a college dorm. The key is to start. Perfection can come later. Third, master financial and operational know-how. Running a company without understanding cash flow and reinvestment strategies is a recipe for disaster. Dive into books on profit management and growth tactics to learn how to allocate earnings back into your business. Finally, aim for recurring, scalable revenue. The most lucrative ventures don't trade hours for dollars. Explore digital products that sell around the clock, franchise models with proven systems, subscription services for steady income, or rental real estate that delivers monthly cash flow. Imagine owning a venture that keeps generating cash even when you're off duty. No more sleepless nights over being fired or depending on a boss's whims. Your income steadily climbs with no cap in sight. That's the essence of true wealth creation. Are you building your own financial fortress or simply padding someone else's wallet? Yet, even the strongest business can leave you exposed to unforeseen shocks. Secret number 2 reveals why spreading your income across multiple channels may be the single most powerful financial tactic you've overlooked, and how to make sure you're never reliant on one paycheck again. Income diversification. Picture this. Tomorrow, your primary income stream vanishes. Will money still flow in? The biggest financial risk isn't earning too little. It's having only one source of revenue. Those who truly understand money know that real security comes from cash pouring in from different directions. Their guiding mantra to avoid disaster is simple: never put all your eggs in one basket. This mistake impacts countless people. Living on a single salary or gig leaves you vulnerable. What happens when the economy cools off and you lose your job? When new regulations cut into your profits? Or when an entire industry shifts overnight due to technology or changing tastes? The result is swift. Millions remain financially exposed because they never built backup streams. Here's a revealing fact. The average millionaire counts on at least 7 separate revenue sources. That way, if one stream slows down, the others keep fueling the engine. Many wealthy individuals divide their assets by thirds. 1/3 in real estate, 1/3 in business ventures, and 1/3 in cash or liquid investments. So how do you create multiple money channels? First, break free from dependence on your monthly paycheck. If you rely solely on one employer, a single decision can derail your finances. Start building side avenues immediately, even if they're modest at first. Second, put capital into assets that quietly generate returns over time. Consider rental properties in high-growth regions such as Austin or Nashville. Dividend-paying stocks from firms like Johnson & Johnson or Coca-Cola. Online enterprises with automated sales systems, and specialized funds that distribute regular income. Third, launch projects alongside your day job that yield long-term revenue. Offer consulting services in your area of expertise, design digital products, or deliver niche services you're passionate about. Each of these can scale based on the effort you choose to invest. Fourth, master high-value skills you can deploy at will. Learn disciplines like digital marketing, coding, advanced sales strategies, or financial coaching. Possessing these in-demand abilities lets you spin up fresh income pathways whenever you need them. Imagine waking up to multiple deposits landing in your account, even while you're asleep. That is the true power of diversified income. When one sector underperforms, the others keep your wealth climbing. You'll never again fear putting all your financial fate in a single employer's hands. So here is the question. How many distinct revenue streams do you control right now? But remember, diversification is only the beginning. In secret number 1, you'll learn the 4 precise steps that top earners follow to quietly amass their first million, without flashy schemes, unnecessary risks, or relying on external luck. Secret number 1, quietly forge your first million. Many people assume becoming a millionaire requires massive luck or a huge salary. But there is a proven step-by-step path you can follow. Savvy wealth builders stick to a systematic plan to grow significant wealth under the radar, steering clear of high-stakes gambles. They know that the first million doesn't happen by accident. It's engineered with discipline and strategy. Here are the 4 core steps they embrace. Step 1. Purposefully boost your earnings. Why is this so vital? Simply put, you cannot invest or multiply money you have not yet earned. Without an upward trajectory in your income, none of the subsequent steps can gain traction. The affluent keep boosting their earnings by pursuing high-paying careers in fields like law, medicine, technology, and finance, or by running businesses that deliver steady revenue alongside side ventures. Investments, real estate holdings, and consulting services. Practical step. If your salary hasn't budged in years, look for ways to increase it. And if you don't yet have an extra income stream, begin building one today. Step 2. Intelligent saving and expense control. The biggest mistake is spending every dollar you earn. Wealthy individuals live below their means, quietly socking away cash to grow their assets. They prioritize investing and financial education over luxury and status. They refuse to upscale their lifestyle just because earnings rise. Instead, they set up an automatic system to save 20% to 50% of their income. Practical step: build a budget so your outgo never exceeds 50% of what you bring in. Estimate what you can save and invest, and carve out those amounts before you touch the rest. Step 3. Smart investments and asset accumulation. Money left idle loses value. The secret is putting it to work for you. Affluent people avoid letting funds sit in basic savings accounts. They convert them into assets that generate returns. They buy long-term stocks and mutual funds where compound interest plays in their favor. They acquire rental properties to earn passive income. They reinvest business profits to fuel further growth. Practical step: even if you start small, begin investing now. Spread your money across different asset classes to ensure stability and steady appreciation. Think low-cost index funds tracking the S&P 500 or real estate investment trusts. Step 4. Silent growth and a long-term mindset. The final insight: don't rush. Stick with the plan. Real wealth compounds over years, not overnight. Seasoned investors steer clear of fads and get-rich-quick schemes. They practice patience and consistency, building solid assets that endure for future generations. Practical step: ditch the shortcuts and focus on continuous progress. Regular investments over 10 to 20 years can transform your financial life. Picture waking up one morning to discover you've built a net worth of 7 figures, without wild risks or flashy displays, simply by following a safe, repeatable strategy. Now that you're familiar with these 10 wealth-building principles most people never learn, it's time to take action. Which guideline will you implement first? Will you start stacking multiple income streams? Set up a 5-jar money management system? Or shift your mindset toward long-term growth?